When I was a kid, I was convinced that I was lazy. I heard this constant chorus from my teachers and other adults of, pay attention, focus, you're not living up to your potential. It always seemed to me that I was actually working much harder to succeed than my peers, but my efforts were usually one step forward, two steps back. As I got older and watched my peers be successful in their chosen careers, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I had enough of an ego to wonder why I wasn't able to be successful when I was every bit as, if not smarter than them, but I resigned myself to a negative self-image. I must be lazy, like my teacher said. The thing is, though, I wasn't lazy at all. I had ADHD. Here's how my life and self-image changed with my diagnosis at age 57. My childhood was not easy. Besides my problems with my self-image, I was also dealing with fallout from childhood abuse from a relative. So I've been in therapy for depression and anxiety from a very young age. I never told anyone about the abuse until I was 18, purely because it just wasn't discussed in the early 70s. And even if a child did admit it to an adult, they usually weren't believed. So I just kept my mouth shut. When I thought about my difficulties in school and with social relationships, I figured that the abuse had permanently destroyed my psyche, that I was damaged now, and I would probably always feel weird and disconnected. I learned how to put on a normal mask so that I would fit in better and not be bullied. My life motto at the time was, act as if until you are. Flash forward in time, and I had been working at a university for 15 years. It was the longest I ever kept a job. I felt as comfortable at work as was possible for me. Then menopause happened. Suddenly, all of the weird symptoms I tried to hide from others pushed to the front. Working from home during the pandemic actually suited me extremely well. No need for putting on makeup, getting dressed, fighting traffic. I loved working from home. I had been asking for years and was constantly told, no, you have to come to the office. So I was much more productive working from home because there was no one around to distract me. I started being more intolerant of being required to learn complicated computer programs. I stopped wearing makeup at work, and I dressed as casually as I could possibly dress without getting noticed and reprimanded. I started to feel anger that I was being forced to deal with constantly being uncomfortable and being stuffed into a small box instead of being allowed to be my authentic self. My attitude pretty much tanked into a black fog. One day, a coworker sent me a link to an article about adult ADHD in women. And I was stunned. I didn't even know women could have ADHD. I thought only little boys had it, and they grew out of it when they got older. The article mentioned about how women have different symptoms than men, and consequently, much lower rates of diagnosis than men. The list of symptoms for women, such as daydreaming, talking too much, interrupting others in conversation, which I was notorious for, and hair twirling, which I do plenty of, they stunned me. I was reading about myself. So I made an appointment with a neuropsychologist and got tested. Sure enough, I had pronounced ADHD and was also on the autism spectrum. My relief was immense. I wasn't lazy or weird or lesser than. I was neurodivergent. Now my burden had a name, and I could learn how to deal with it in a constructive manner. Later that same year, I was laid off from my long-time position, which was devastating for me. However, I was in a much better frame of mind by then, and I think I dealt with it better. I was more sure of my abilities by then, and I feel like currently I'm a work in progress now. I don't feel damaged anymore. So if you think you may be neurodivergent, I would encourage you to seek a diagnosis. My feeling is that self-realization is a process, and knowing as much as you can about yourself and why you are the way you are can be extremely helpful. Thanks for watching, and please leave your experiences in the comments below. And I think we all deserve to be happy and healthy. So don't be afraid to learn more about yourself, because I know you're an interesting person and you're worthwhile. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.